his priority. And my second story is how can I not share this one? Um, it was really recent. For my last month on my mission, God had decided to give me a challenge, and I haven't lived a lot of years yet, but I can say that these 3 weeks were the hardest in my life. I was nearing the end of my mission, and I had two great, amazing companions in downtown Calgary. And that is the place to be because it has the best restaurants and the best dessert places ever. Um, and we were helping our friend Brian be baptized as well. I thought to myself that I would continue to work hard and we'll see good things. Things were going good for us, and I didn't expect anything big to happen. But on December 7th, one of my companions came down with illness, and we didn't think it was anything big. So we had him rest, except he wasn't getting better. Something told me that I needed to take precautions, and I wasn't sure why. I'm sure I must have looked crazy to my companions as I started using separate utensils, wiping down the bathroom every time it was used, and taking my mattress out of the bedroom to the living room. So I wasn't sleeping with anyone else in the room. Well, so I wasn't sleeping with that companion in the same room. But a few days later, his COVID test results came out as positive, um, and and that was kind of a shock to us. And I guess naturally, my other companion and I went to go get tested as well. There were three of us, both assuming that we had COVID too, since we lived in the same apartment and we were always in each other's vicinity. But the night before we got our results, our mission president called us, telling us that he thinks we need to separate ourselves into three different rooms and to not leave unless we needed to use the bathroom. If we had to leave our rooms, we had to wear masks in our own apartment. We didn't quite understand why. Told us to do this since we thought we both had it anyways. But we did, we followed. And I will never forget when we got our results the next day and my second companion tested positive and I tested negative. It all made more sense. But instead, we would have to quarantine from each other. And then I was told that because I had so few days left till I went home, if I caught COVID from then on, I wouldn't be able to get home on time. I guess spoiler alert, I am here giving my talk, so I guess things did work out, but it didn't always look that way. Yet these were the most powerful days of my mission. On top of being quarantined in the smallest room in the apartment, I don't know how that happened. I just happened to choose the smallest room to self-isolate in, and trying to wipe down every surface to avoid catching something I couldn't see, worrying about being sick in general, wondering how we were going to help Ryan be baptized when we were stuck at home and couldn't physically be there. And the chance of not being able to go home, and then just being frustrated over how distracted I was from my missionary purpose. I was just simply losing it. My mind kept going back and forth of, there's no way I have it, to wait, I totally have it. What if I do have it, I just can't feel it right now? People would call us to ask how I was doing, and every time I said I was doing fine, but I really wasn't. It was difficult. But there came a time where I just couldn't keep living like that any longer. I couldn't have my last month of my mission be like this. I knew this is not what God wanted me to be. I remember having the most intense, powerful, meaningful prayers in my life during this time. I pleaded and pleaded with the Lord, and I made promises to Him. One night I prayed that if He would just protect me and take care of the rest, I promised that I wouldn't focus on my circumstances, but give my all to serve as a missionary for my last month. Instantly, I felt peace in my heart, and I felt confident that I could do this. And I was doing really good for the next few days. I was doing really good until I woke up one day with a dry throat and a dry chest. And I started to panic, and I thought, oh, I lost the game. I lost the game where I'm trying to avoid something I can't see. And the fears and worries came back in a rush. I was desperately trying to find hope through the scriptures. And then I read in Mosiah 24, chapter 24, verse 13 through 14 in the Book of Mormon. And it said, "Lift up your heads and be of good comfort, for I know of the covenant which you have made with me." Covenant is just like another word for promise. "And I will covenant with my people and deliver them out of bondage. and I will also ease the burdens which are put upon your shoulders, that even you cannot feel them upon your backs, even while you are in bondage. And this will I do, that ye may stand as witnesses for me hereafter, and that ye may know of a surety that I, the Lord, do visit my people in their afflictions. When I read that scripture, my mind went back to that night where I promised God that I would focus on the work and not my circumstances, if He would take care of me. I knew that God would fulfill His end. He always does. But depended on if I fulfilled my end of the promise. And that time I dropped to my knees and I prayed, letting Him know how I felt. And it was really hard to say it, because I didn't want to sound prideful. I didn't want to sound demanding. But I told Him that I have been working hard and trying my best. And although my best would never be enough, I expected Him to hold His end. And I asked Him that He would take care of me. I was doing my part.